Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, as we continue through our multiplication unit, we've been working on multiplication of whole numbers by decimals. I'm going to teach you some valuable lessons when we multiply by powers of 10. Computers are closed while we multiply by powers of 10. I'm going to make it easier for you. Because if I gave you the problem, let's do it this way. I'm going to give you several problems here. All right. These are powers of 10. 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. That looks like a beating of a problem to do. I mean, I'm looking at it, I'm like, well, it's a lot of work. I don't want to do all that. And let's using our previous knowledge, tell me what you think the answer to this would be. Who thinks they know the answer to this? Isaac?
21 and 3/10.
21 and 3/10. And that's exactly right. Because when you're multiplying by 10, all you're doing is moving the decimal point over 1. Because when you did this in the past, if you said 15 times 10, you knew the answer was what? 150. It is 150. But the reason it's 150 is not because you just put a 0 at the end. It's because I moved the decimal. The decimal in 15 is right after the ones place. It's not shown right now, but it's right after the ones place. And you actually, when you're multiplying by 10, you move the decimal point one place to the right. Well, I have to put a digit in there. And so that digit is 150. That is why. Not just add a 0 to the end. Because I had people, when I've done it in the past, say 2.130. And there are probably some of you in here thinking 2.130. But that's the same number. 2.13 and 2.130 is the same number, the same value. There's no difference. So it's not just putting the 0 at the end. It's actually moving the decimal point. So as Isaac told me, this one is going to be 21 and 3/10. Guess what we do when we multiply by 100?
You just slide over 2 places.
Slide over 2 places. Excellent. Because we were multiplying by whole numbers, so it's got to get bigger. Because I'm going to show you multiplying by decimals here in a minute. So I move it over 2 places. So it'd be 1, 2. So this time, my answer would be 213. When I'm multiplying by 1,000, what do you think that's going to be?
2,130.
Oh my gosh, you guys are brilliant. 2,130. 2,130. Let's look at just one more set. And see, this is going to save you. And I'm going to tell you what I've seen in the past. 4,287 times for all the years I've been teaching is I'll show you this. It's not a trick. It's just how it is. And so it's kind of, I don't know, a shortcut maybe. So you don't have to do all the actual algorithm. So let's take it. Okay? Now, if I looked at this and I thought, man, I've got a 5-digit number and I got to multiply by that, a 4-digit number, that would, you can go ahead and go.
Did I go to the gym?
Small gym. That would be a beating to have all of that done. That's cray-cray. But if I know the reason why the answer is the way the answer is, I can do this in seconds. Because we're making this 10 times bigger, or 10 times bigger, that means this 8 needs to be 10 times bigger than it is. And if it's in the 10th place, that would make it 1, because 1 is 10 times bigger than the 10th place. The 1's place is 10 times bigger than the 10th place. Just like we learned at the beginning of the year. So obviously, 15 and 869 thousandths times 1 is 15 and 869 thousandths. And I'm going to have the same numbers, 15869, when I multiply by 10. So Eli, where's the decimal point go if I'm multiplying this number by 10? Between which two digits? When I multiply by 10, I move my decimal point to the right one place. Good. So 158 and 69 hundredths. I'm going to have the same numbers here. Where is my decimal point going to be, Courtney, in this one? Because I got to move over 2 zeros. Good, after the 6. 1,586 and 9 tenths. And I'm going to have the same numbers. It's just a matter of putting the decimal point in the correct place. Carter? Behind the 9. It's just a matter of moving the decimal point. Because we're making each place value 10 times greater. Each number is 10 times greater than it was. This was worth, let's see, this is worth 1. Now it's worth tens. This was in the 10th place. Now it's in the 1's place. And it's just a matter for every 0 added. But wait, there's more. There's more. If we did 32 and 97 hundredths times 1/10. Well, let's do it times 1 first. If I multiply a number times 1, what happens? It's going to stay the same. Because I'm only having one group of 32 and 97 hundredths. Is 1 less than or greater than 0? Greater than. Okay? So my number's not going to get smaller. But what? Is 1/10 less than or greater than 0?
Greater than.
Less than. 1/10 is less than 1. So I got to make this number smaller. If I'm multiplying by less than 1, my number gets smaller. So how do you think it might get smaller in this one? Silas?
So I think you put a 0 in front of the 9.
No, that would make it smaller, but it needs to be 1/10. So it needs to be this 9 goes from the 10th place, and it needs to move. What place value is 1/10 of the 10th place?
9.
The hundredths. Good, the hundredths. So Isaac?
You just move the decimal point in between the 3 and the 2.
Good. So I'm making each of these 1/10 smaller. So now instead of worth 10, instead of worth 30, now this 3 is worth 3. So that's 1/10 of what it was before. Same thing if I do here. Now I need to make it 100 times smaller. 100 times smaller. Well, using what you just learned up here, Emma?
It's gonna be you're gonna move the decimal place before the 3.
Good. this 7 is in the hundreds place. I need to make it 100 times smaller. It needs to be, the value of it needs to be 1/100th of what it is. So this would be 1/10 of what it is, and this would be 100th of what it is. Okay, so the same thing we did when we multiplied by powers of 10 that are greater than 1, we do when we do the opposite when we multiply by powers of 10 that are less than 1. Yes, sir.
Here's the way I think about it. I think about it being a reversed 10.
Yeah.
The 10's just backwards.
Yeah. It's reversed of what it is the other way. Because one's making a number greater and the other one's making a number smaller. And you're kind of just moving the place value that many so you know.
So you,
Yes, ma'am. You want to see another one of these set?
yeah.
Let's do another set of this. Let's do. Four thousand seven hundred 10,000 times 1/10. Silas.
Now, you put the 0 in front of the 4?
Yes, but you have to move the decimal point.
Yes.
Okay, so now this time you're going to put 0.04791. You can go back and change if you want, Kaylee. You're just moving the decimal point, and you have to move it to the left because we're still making it smaller. Yes.
So like, you put the 0 and then put the decimal point in front of it.
Yeah. Because I need this 4 is worth 4/10.
And then 4 comes.
I need it to be worth 100 or 1/10 of what it is. So now it's worth 4/100.
What is the 1 worth? Because it's tenths, hundreds, thousands.
10,000ths. Okay, so let's look at 5, 7, 9 times. We're multiplying by 100th. So I need my 2, which is in the ones place. I need it to be 100 times smaller. So if I move the 2 to the 10th place, that's 10 times smaller. To the 100th place, or to the 10's place, 100th place. Yes, the 100th place, then it's 100 times smaller. So this one we have 0.02579. So it's a matter of making each place value that much smaller than it was before. And this will be on the Tube of You channel, so you'll be able to review it. And we're not starting it right now, but I just want to give you kind of a heads up on what's coming up, so then you'll know it by like that. Boom, shakalaka, peace out, God bless, love you, do some kind today, save the bees, please subscribe, I want to be rich.